FOG Andrew here from the Family of Gamers. Welcome, War Gamers, to an exciting, awesome episode. So it's spooky month here at Family of Gamers, and that means we are going to be talking about Jaws, the board game. Alright, well, Jaws might not be the first thing you think of when it comes to horror, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Now, Jaws, the board game, has two different game mechanics that I haven't really played too much with, and that is one versus all and a hidden movement mechanic. So one player is taking control of the shark while the other players are taking control of Brody, Hooper, and Quint, who are trying to stop the shark before the shark can eat as many people on the board as possible. That all being said, the shark's movement is hidden from everybody else. The shark uses his handy-dandy tracker sheet in order to keep track of where they are moving to and how many swimmers they eat. So at the beginning of the round, you're going to draw an Amity event card from the deck, and this will have good or bad things that happen depending on, which side you're on. So for example, we have the helicopter card, which places 2 swimmers on the North Beach, 2 swimmers on the East Beach, 1 swimmer on the West Beach, but its ability or special text that it has is that Brody may immediately move to any space on the island. So let's say you could have him go to the North Beach and then he can rescue swimmers later on. The shark can take up to 3 actions per turn, so they can move 1 space or they can eat a swimmer that's at a beach. Now, you're going to mark this, if you're the shark player, in the shark tracker, where you end up, what spaces you move through, and if you ate any swimmers at any of the beaches. Then when their turn is done, they'll say, I ate 2 swimmers at the East Beach, but that's it. Everything else is completely secret from the other players. So if the shark ate 2 swimmers at the East Beach, that means that the shark could be within that area, but maybe they used one of their abilities. Yes, the shark has abilities like Speed Burst, which on this round, the shark may, as 1 action, move 3 spaces, or Feeding Frenzy, which, for 1 action, the shark can eat all of the swimmers at a beach, which is pretty insane. But you can only use them once a game. But now, what can Brody, Hooper, and Quint do? Well, Brody can move around the board and rescue swimmers at different beaches. He could also go to the shop in the middle of the board and then go to one of the docks and drop off a barrel there. Then Hooper can pick up the barrel, go to Quint's location, give the barrel to Quint, and then Quint can move somewhere and throw a barrel at one of those locations. This is really important because for the human players to win, they need to launch 2 barrels and attach them to the shark. Hooper and Quint can both pick up barrels at the docks, but only Quint can launch them from his boat. But that's not all. Brody can go to either Amity PD or the mayor's office to close off one of the beaches on the board for a round or 2. He could even go to the beach and use his binoculars to see if the shark is there. Hooper is on a speedboat, so he could actually move 2 spaces instead of only 1 as an action, and he could use his fish finder in a space to see if the shark is there or in one of the adjacent spaces. Last but not least, Quint can launch barrels at the shark. So the goal of the human players is to launch 2 of the barrels into the shark's location and attach them to the shark. Once 2 barrels are attached to the shark, or the shark eats 9 swimmers, we move on to Act 2. Yeah, I didn't mention that there's a second part to this game. Well, there is. Now this is where it gets crazy. Now, you're aboard Quint's boat, the Orca. It's time to fight. So the humans are trying to kill the shark as it resurfaces into one of the spaces. And the shark is trying to either kill all 3 of them or destroy the boat. The human players have special gear cards that they could use to try to fight the shark, like guns, and we got a fishing net, okay, and we got a chum, I guess. And the shark even has special ability cards, of course, like he can attack again, or he can damage parts of the ship. Each human player has 6 health, but the shark has a whopping 18 health. Now, if the human players can get the shark down to 0 health, they'll win. But if all 3 of the humans die, or the ship is completely destroyed, the shark wins. So now let's go back to Act 1 of the game. I think this part of the game is very suspenseful and fun. You know, trying to get barrels from the shop, giving the barrels to Hooper, giving the barrels to Quint so that he can launch the barrels at the shark. I think it's very suspenseful. And the players need to be very synergistic with each other. They need to work very, 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 very closely with each other. Now, playing as the shark can also be suspenseful. You're trying to hide from the binoculars and the fish finders that can reveal your location, or if you're in an adjacent location as well, that can be pretty tough to get around. The other thing I like about this game is that how Act 1 kind of dictates how Act 2 might go. So let's say the shark eats 6 swimmers. That means that the shark will get 7 ability cards, and the crew members, the human players, will get 6 crew cards. But if the shark eats 9 swimmers, the shark gets 10 ability cards, and the humans only get 3 crew cards. Now, for Act 2, you are rolling dice to attack each other, but I don't think that's a problem. The only issue I kind of have with it is that it overstays its welcome a little bit. You're probably going to play Act 2 longer than you played Act 1. But that being said, it's pretty fun trying to go onto the different spots on the boat and trying to predict where the shark is going to resurface, and then, of course, attacking it. Now, it is a little goofy that the shark has special ability cards, but you know what? It's a board game based off of Jaws. I'm letting that slide. In Act 2, it could be a little unbalanced only because of how many swimmers the shark ate in Act 1, so it could be a little unbalanced in Act 2, but that also kind of gives the human players a challenge in Act 2, but it can be unbalanced because if the shark eats 9 of the swimmers, they're getting 10 shark abilities. That's a little insane. The component quality of the cards and the character sheets are a little flimsy. I thought it was kind of out of place with how nice the board looks. So, that being said, Jaws the board game is pretty fun and it's pretty good. Ravensburger has been knocking it out of the park with these movie licensed games, and I think they're doing a pretty good job with it. Now, like I said, I've not really played games like this before, where it has a hidden movement mechanic and also a one against all mechanic as well. So if you have any suggestions on other games that have this mechanic, let me know down in the comments below. And also check out the videos that are on the screen right now for more board game reviews coming out in the future, and subscribe if you're new as well. I'll see you in the next one.